finish up our session today. And I have one last question for our co-host and for our special guest. Can you tell me what is your greatest lesson learned, your paradigm shift, your aha moment about embracing, cultivating relationships in sisterhood?
Well, I have had interesting encounters in the last year. I have a support group for creatives, and I offer people permission to start and the courage to finish their creative ideas. So as you can imagine, I ideal share a lot, and I hear a lot of people's creative ideas. I have a deep conviction about making sure that I don't share one person's creative idea with another, but also really I spend a lot of time examining my heart, making sure that I remain a clean stream for the Father to flow through in terms of just integrity with intellectual property, period. But I suffer from this horrible paranoia at times that as I share ideas so freely, that when people get that extra oomph to pursue their idea, that they're taking my idea. And so it can leave you, if you buy into that narrative, it can leave you feeling used. And my greatest paradigm shift is going from realizing that when I wake up every day and say, Lord, please use me, that I have to be ready to be used. So after I wrote my book, I remember a young lady announced that she was doing something very similar with journals. And when I saw her post, everything in me wanted to celebrate, but my flesh was like, oh my goodness. And so when I wrote my book, my kind of pitch to people was that it's a little bit of me, it's a whole lot of you, and my prayer is that upon completion of my book, it'll be the beginning of you writing your own. I said that over and over. So when I called my very seasoned, wise counsel in tears, like, somebody's gonna do, she said, Toya, wasn't that your prayer?
Yeah.
And it was a huge paradigm shift. And so just realizing, realizing you can either see yourself as being used by man, or you can understand that you're being used by God. So there's a scripture that I cling to that says, to he who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. To he who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. So if you're a thought leader, if you are a person who teaches those who teach, or you inspire those who inspire, you have to prepare your heart and your mind to understand that moment the enemy tries to plant that seed and say that you're being used by man, that you're really being used by God, and that's your role. Like, every joint has something to supply. That's what you're supplying to the body of Christ. So that young lady who had announced that has become one of my most cherished friends. And I'm so thankful that after that question that my friend asked me, she said, Toya, you're on the same team. And so that changed everything.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Recognizing who's on your team.
Yeah.
Asking the question. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. It makes me think about some like just kind of my career path and stuff. I'm kind of a behind the scenes person, which I love. I love being, I don't, I'm not the whole lights and microphone, front center stage, give me the microphone type of person. And so you'll see a lot of times like the fruit of your labor, being, helping to pull that thing together, and then somebody else, they're getting the, I guess the applause and stuff. And it's just something that I'm comfortable with. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just like you said, you're on the same team, everybody wins, and you still get to feel good about the part that you played in making that happen. So I love that you said that and shared that, and it helped me to kind of see that in some of the things that you do.
Let me just
that I
plug
do.
this right here, though. As you say that, you don't like the microphone,
What?
but when this chick grabs the microphone, like, it is like, oh my gosh, preach, Vicky, yes, she's not even trying. But when you put it closer to the light, oh, it is a bright light. So I just had to say that. I've seen that a few times, and I know you're behind the scenes kind of chick, but I love it when you do get the microphone, and it's just kind of like it just flows from her belly. So.
Thank you.
But anyway,
Thank you for
feel free to
saying
share your
over the course of some, the successful and healthy friendships and relationships, that I've had. Because all of your relationships don't have to be friendships. Again, I'll stress that, could just be strong coworker, relationships. It doesn't go a whole lot further than that, but just strong there, and y'all can still depend on each other for certain things. But just whatever the case may be, relationships. I've been able to find out where my lane is, or where I'm maybe gifted or strong in a particular area, and kind of just stay in, run with that, versus trying to be so many things or trying to be everything to everybody. You know what I mean? Just be that what people enjoy and appreciate about you, and just letting that blossom and foster. And maybe they can get something else from somebody else. Like, I'm not that friend that, can, has that real strong and, kind of, finger in the face. And because some people need that, and some people have a person in their life for that. Like, look, grab you by the collar or whatever. And that's not me. I'm kind of
call
more,
you on your stuff.
Yes,
that chick.
And so I'm not always quite that, but and of course not just overlooking, just blatant, certain things, of course, but I'm more of the, and I guess some people use the term sweet, like, to describe me and stuff, which I'm like, what, really? But I think more like considerate and thoughtful people have used too, and I can kind of see that, because really consideration to me just means simply that, and you're considering someone else. Yeah. You're thinking about someone else, how decisions and things you say, decisions you make, and things like that will impact somebody else. And so that I am guilty of, so to speak, in a good way. Just for people that are really important to me and that are allowed to get close in my life, I am always thinking of that, of how I can be a blessing to them, how I hear some people say, like, how you can give advantage, not always take advantage. Because no one wants to be like completely on one end of the spectrum of a relationship all the time.
Yes.
We know in marriages, it's not going to be successful for long.
Right.
If one person's doing all the giving, one person's, doing all the taking. And so that's just been one of the things in my, that I like to, in my friendships, that's been valuable. And then I was just listening, not always being the one that needs to, talk, or even if you do, like you say, may have something valuable to share. But just sometimes when you allow people to talk and get things out and express things, sometimes that may be all they need, and sometimes they may hear their own answer,
right?
And they may not
just getting it out,
right? May not. They're not always calling you to say, "Okay, you give me the answer. And what's your opinion?" It's like, hear them out, let them, and then as they're, you asking the questions, you ask questions that provoke thoughts, and then before the conversation's over, they have their answer, between you working with God and them, and so you don't always again have to feel like I've got to be the one to give this or to provide this answer, or so just being a good listener, just loving unconditionally. And we get all that from all this stuff is in the Bible. All this is Jesus, examples of how Jesus treated people, so I would encourage people to do that, just kind of see how God treated people, unconditionally. Don't have reasons, to love them, or they have to perform a certain way or behave a certain way in order for you to, to love them. And, so yeah, that's about it.
That's good. For me, I would say that I was just thinking a little bit while you were talking about the different, relationships and things that I've developed over the last year, and how sometimes it's kind of easy when I'm the person who, you can meet me in the nail shop and I can just have a full conversation with you. By the time I leave the nail shop, I know all kinds of things about you, and because I can strike up conversation with anybody about anything. But the real challenge when you're talking about this whole sisterhood thing, you're talking about a circle, and you're talking about something that might expose some things about yourself. And that's where I tend to back off a little bit. I have this little fear factor that what I have in me over the years, the gifts that I have and things, that they're not big enough or important enough, or the enemy is often telling me that that's not that big of a deal, or years ago when I wrote my book, it was at a place where I was talking about dating that pleases God, and that was really important to me right then. And there was a lot of people that came to me during that time and benefited from it. But now when people say something about the book, I'm like, and so I tend to kind of disqualify things, and I think a lot of that is based in fear. And so the paradigm shift that I have had in developing sisterhood relationships is being bold and courageous about the things that God has placed in me, so that I can do what it is that He wants me to do, and not shrink back, because it's easy to shrink back and just get by myself and say, well, I can do my own thing, know. But He's challenging me during this season in my life to just come out and be bold. And,
I love that.
And so I've got to embrace it. That's part of my embracing sisterhood.
And I think that we all have something bold and bright and useful to add to a circle, to a sister circle. It's not about seclusion. It's not about writing people off. It is about growth, and growing in the meantime, and understanding what that means. But it is about letting your light shine, shine. Be in your bad audacious self, because you have that inside of you, and finding like-minded sisters that can flow with you, that can roll with you, and not, stepping on anyone else to elevate yourself, but just allowing people to grow where they are, loving them where they are, and allowing these sisterhoods and connections to actually just transport us all to a successful, healthy, peaceful place in our life. That's good. That's good. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. Bouncing off of what Kim has said about being bold and shining, there is actually a quote that is often miscredited to Nelson Mandela. It's actually written by Marianne Williamson, and I'm going to leave you with this. And I want you to think about your sisterhoods, think about your circles, think about how you can add to someone else at this point in their life. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are more powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinkage so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make and manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Wow. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that we have said something that will empower, elevate, love on you, and strengthen you today.